way. However, when you joined back to collect your quarry, you guys encountered some Aarakocras, which probably needed the Manticore more than you guys. So you guys took some of its spikes along with some of its meat and head back. You guys then did a long rest, and you guys made your way to the Dawn Pass. And that is where we left off. As you guys are making your day's worth towards the Dawn Pass, it is 8 o'clock at night. It is fairly dark. Obviously, the only people that can really see out of this group, other than the Tieflings, is Ichabod, because he's a half elf. Other than that, everyone else is kind of like walking blind, but you guys have gotten to know each other's patterns to know to stick close and to, stay close to the ones who don't have vision. That being said, Ichabod and Axios, you guys see Blue just like being dead last in the group. As you could tell, as he was resting, he keeps getting weaker and more weaker because of his infection state. So much so that like he collapses to the ground. And Axios, your wife Amryn, goes up to him and says, "Blue, are you okay?" Blue then says, "Yeah, I'll be fine." And he's like just barely struggling to get up.
I'm gonna telepathically because if I recall, I was still on my demonic steed at the time.
Yes, you are
Yeah.
on your steed. Yes.
So I'm going to. So I have a telepathic link with it. So I'm going to telepathically say to it, uh, "Can you help this weak ass piece of crap right now? Just let him ride on your back. Fuck this." And then I hop off the steed.
He goes. The steed like gets up from it, using its hind legs and just and like is about to approach Blue. Blue is like kind of weirded out about it.
You're too
And
weak
Blue,
to walk, so you ride.
all right, fine, but it's not gonna touch me. And he gets on his back, and it's gonna carry you throughout the rest of your journey. And we
I'm
are
extremely upset by this the entire time.
all right. So you guys travel. Assumingly Axios is leading the charge.
Yeah.
Okay. So, that being said, you guys are basically climbing mountains at night. And we rolled to see whether there was any encounters during your travel, through your 1 day's travel up it. And there's no random encounter. So you guys are climbing, just being very careful because, you're climbing up a mountain, side of a mountain with very little to no vision. So the ones who could see in the dark are leading the blind basically, as they are at a moderate to slow pace for the most part. But other than that, you guys have time to talk amongst yourselves. You guys can basically do what you want as you guys are traversing.
Well, I'm gonna pull Kodo aside, away from the group a little bit. I'm just gonna, hey, how much chicken do you have left?
What chicken?
How much chicken do you have left?
What chicken?
The chicken you gave me at the frickin' church.
I know not what chicken you talk of. You're very
I
strange.
think he's lying. I think he's lying. He's pulling some bull crap. The New Year off right, I guess.
I mean,
14.
if you want an insight check, you can, but it's up to you.
I did. Yeah, I rolled 14.
14. All right. Kodo, you could either decide to make a deception check or just tell him.
19.
You genuinely don't. He genuinely doesn't know what you're talking about. Axios.
Okay. I leave it at that. I'm gonna start trailing Kodo a bit.
Okay, fair enough. All right. Ichabod, you want to do anything during this time as you guys are traversing?
I'm eating beef jerky manicore meat.
Sure. Sure, there you go.
I
Neo goes up.
something with my little eye.
So Nea's close by to you because, you two have developed a bond throughout this entire campaign. And she says, "So, we're going westward, but what are we looking for?"
I
She said,
point to the demonic horse. He needs help.
We're going.
he,
What's the name of the pass again?
the Dawn Pass.
We're headed to the Dawn Pass. There might be some here that help Blue, and we might be able to take a little break.
Cussing Elvis. Not Don Pass. Past Don Pass. There's nothing at Don Pass.
You don't know that.
I do know
Somebody-
that. I'm from the area. I grew up here.
Yeah, and there could be people hiding in the Dawn Pass.
Oh, Jai,
While
why?
they're talking.
The only people in Don Pass would be bandits.
I missed this.
How
Chaos
you
for
live
me.
this long and be this dumb?
But dumb. We're all fighting for survival. They could all be dead, and we could have to kill them again. You know.
As you
With
guys are
arrows.
having this argument while you're traversing, some platform gives way underneath your feet, not enough to drop you, but you're like, oh geez. And as you look down, Ichabod, you're the one that has dark vision. You look down and you see it's a far drop down that could possibly kill you, basically, if you're not too careful as you guys are arguing.
With my
Back up.
my new acquired slippers of spider climbing, I just walk around. Don't fall, dummy. And just keep on going.
All right, cool.
I want to say just
Awesome.
one quick thing to Amber and Infernal while they two are having this elvish conversation, I'm assuming.
Sure.
Cool. And I'm just like, hey, listen. So Kodo has some chicken that apparently has restorative properties that he's hoarding for himself. I don't want to kill him, but if there's a way you could possibly get it off him, I'd appreciate it. Thank you.
In what way do you think I should get rid of them? Except get the chicken. You know you're talking about chicken, right?
I'm
Even
talking
though
about
it-
keeping the party alive. I'm talking about killing enough souls so we can have enough souls for a baby.
What are you talking about exactly?
There's a lot of things that happened that made me this, that you see here. There's just a lot to talk about. We haven't had time.
Well, we could talk now. They can't understand us.
I know.
You guys are just hearing a bunch of snarls and demonic like undertones and stuff.
That's fair. Alright, listen. There's a good chance, and I didn't get a full concrete answer, that you and I are the only two tieflings left in this entire freaking planet.
We can't possibly be the only tieflings here.
Doesn't sound likely, but an entire world of zombies wasn't likely years ago, so
Look, I don't know what happened that made you this and have this understanding, this new way of thinking, but I understand you're trying to do what's best for you, what's best for me, what's best for us. But, and she looks at Ichabod. You see her look at Ichabod, Anea, Blue, and your weird demonic mount, and Koto. You've formed a family of sorts with these guys. You may argue with them and what have you, but one of your friends is sick. It could turn into one of those things if we can't treat him right. And you have a little girl as well. There's a lot to
that's
think about.
fine. All I need to do is just kill and kill, and it'll all be fine. We're gonna go help them. We're gonna do whatever is necessary as long as people get to die in our fucking path. That's all that matters.
Have you ever think of a day when you just stop killing? You've been a fighter even before all of this. You were in the Colosseums as a slave. You fought to survive. That I understand. You know, killing zombies and other individuals that deserve it. That I understand. But I never see you have this bloodlust before. It's not like you.
This is what happens when you have to live in an apocalypse. As you can see around you, you either get tough or you get turned.
She ignores you throughout the rest of the trip. All right. Now, it's been 6 to 8 hours. It's been most of the full day. You guys spent most of the time traversing. And at this point, this it's still dark out, but it's more like a 6 a.m. dark where like you guys are starting to see a little bit more. For you, Koto, and for Anea, and for Blue speaking, um, you guys are starting to see a little bit more clear as the sky slowly begins to brighten. But I want everyone to make a perception check for me. For the viewers, I'm rolling off screen just so that I can easily manage rolls.
22.
17.
17.
16.
Come on. 16. All right. Axios, what'd you roll?
22.
22. All right. Anea and Amron rolled very high, so we just do this. I want you three to go to this Albert Rodeo link in the Dead Realms text chat. So, oh, I just posted the link, so everyone go there and let me know when you get it.
Got it.
Okay, you guys are in. Okay. Axios, your mount, is it considered? It's considered a large creature or a medium creature?
Large.
Okay, so, all right. Assumingly, this is the order because you know you guys are close together. Let me just move you guys just a little bit. You guys see that most of the area is darkened. That's because that's just to represent like how dark it is. But with your vision, we are current vision Kodo. This is what you are able to see, about 60 feet's worth of sight. However, when you look up, you see nothing but cliff face, so you don't know what's above you. So, and this weird thing is your demonic beast token with blue on it, assumingly strapped safe and what have you. I will say right now, if you guys at any point fall off the map, you will instantly die. So other than that, you guys are at a height to where any miscalculation of a fall could possibly kill you. That being said, this is what you guys see, and with based on everyone's perception checks, you guys just hear like kind of this weird laugh, snoring kind of way further out in the distance, going just echoing throughout the tops of the mountain. What do you do?
Okay. Well, just in case knows what it is there a way that I can roll to see if Koto knows what it is?
You could either make a nature check or a history check.
Oh, I thought I would have a survival. Nature?
Yeah, because this is knowing knowledge-wise of what this is.
Gotcha. No, Koto doesn't know.
It's the first time you've heard of it. It's very weird. What
Well,
do the rest of y'all do?
I'm going to start walking up the side of this cliff.
Okay. So when you get to the wall, so each square is 5 foot. So this is, I'm just gonna move your token for a second. Okay. So this is about a 10-foot climb up. So I'll
Okay.
let you know. If you want to just raw climb it, you would have to make a check, and then
I don't
it's
need to climb
basically-
it.
Oh
I
yeah,
got
you
my
got
slippers for
slip.
spider climbing. I just walk right up it.
Okay. So you walk right up it.
And
So
I basically get in a position where I can do Overwatch for the party. I'm going to be moving with the
Okay.
party as they go down.
now
So
before
now they have more room on the ground so they can do their melee stuff. And I can help them out with shooting as I'm
That's true.
traversing on the side of
So-
the cliff face.
So let me just reveal a little bit more of the map. So give me 1 second because there's a lot of angles on this map. By the way, shout outs to Neutral Party because they're the original creators of this map and I am just borrowing it for them. So if you want to support them on Patreon, you can support them with at Neutral Party at Patreon because they made this nice looking map. So much so that I had to carefully fog out in different angles of this. So you'll see more of that map in a sec. Koto. Okay, 1 moment, almost done here. Map has a lot of angles, so just trying to be fun. Okay, so Koto, you get up top of here. As you do, I need you to make a perception check. You
I
do
wasn't gonna
see
get on top. I was just gonna be on the side right here.
Okay, so
Yeah.
you get on the side, and what you see, based on your current vision, is that you see a large pile of bones just over here, and it seems like these bones have clubs within them, spiky clubs on top of that, more like as if a barbarian would make it, or somewhat, or some form. Just make a perception check while you're over there, as you're looking around your surroundings.
20, 30.
Okay. I gotta reveal more of the map. 1 second. Hold up, partner. All right. Okay, you would definitely see this then. All right, so you see. Well, immediately as you look up, you see this sleeping hyena-looking humanoid sleeping like just clutching onto its weaponry. Other than that, you do see, as I have to use the fog tool. What do you guys think about the map so far, by the way?
I like it.
Yeah, this looks really, really nice. So you can probably see why I have to like always like measure out angles and shit. So, all right, almost done here. What you also see further ahead, roughly. Okay, I'll just reveal it, and let me just do measurements. And when as you're squinting your eye, you see about 90 feet away from your current position, another knoll just sleeping on the job. It looks like it's in a watch position, but that is what you see with your 20 check. You see two gnolls sleeping, one at 90 feet, one nearby you.
I move a little bit down.
Okay.
About right here. Because you said these are 10-foot increments.
Yeah, going up this cliffside, yes.
And I point to the party and I do the standard shh.
All right. Everyone hushes. What do the rest of you do?
And I basically around the bend there's 3 undead. Further up the mountainside there are like dog, human, sleeping, but very far away from where we are right now. We still have plenty of mountainside to go up. Looks like we will deal with the 3 undead first. Be quiet.
Alright, he tells you all this. What do y'all do?
Oh, dang, I know what do you do. I'm gonna Misty Step my way up that cliff.
Okay. What's the range of Misty Step? 30 feet?
Yeah, 1 second.
Yeah, you could Misty Step. Make a perception check for me. Question, does Misty Step have any verbal components?
So I got 12 on that, and it is a full component, yep.
Alright, so you do clearly see this gnoll in front of you. You do recognize it from your gladiator days. Other than that and the one that Kodo pointed out, you don't see anything else other than like this pile of bones. With the verbal component of your spell, luckily they don't hear it. So continue with what you want to do.
I'm just gonna start stalking my way over towards those undead and clear them out.
Alright. Are you doing this stealthily?
Yes, of course.
Make a stealth check.
Dang, 6.
6. Yeah. Okay. For the moment, you're silent.
I'm looking down at the rest of the party, and I'm basically shrugging my shoulders, like, what are we gonna do? Are we gonna continue, or do you want me to help out Axius?
I'll point my way up to Axius, and I'll look at the other two, and I'll wave them forward to like, let's go forwards.
Okay.
All right.
As they're traversing down this path, I'm gonna follow them.
Okay. Along the wall, basically.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So go ahead and move your tokens to where you guys want to be. Okay. We'll follow suit. Move Amron and Naea's, and Naea will be closer to you, Ichabod. Alright. So let me just reveal more of the map for you guys here. Alright, give me 1 second. This might take a while, so it's good for you guys to plan on your tactics now while I do this. Above board, of course. So, while I uncrop some of this fog. Okay. Right. Just being silent on the battle tactics. So let's see here.
There's nothing that we can really do.
Okay.
Axius
Cool.
is doing his own thing, and they're following down this path, and I'm just basically doing Overwatch for them.
Okay, 1 second. I forgot to defog this area here. Right. Okay. All right. So Axius, as you get closer to the corpses, you start to see that these corpses are not just random pile of bones. You see these corpses as like 3 separate sets of bones, also seeming to be looking more like dog-like. And in this little like cubby hole here, you see 3 sets of these bones as they are a little bit separated, indicating that these are not just randomly placed. And they're all like have their spike clubs nearby them.
Are they moving?
They're not moving. They're just stationary.
Wait,
As if like something died laying down there, right next to their body.
So they're prone.
They're prone right now at the moment, but this seems weird to you because usually if it was a pile of bones, they would just stack up, but these are separated and still somewhat like attached together, but not so much so to form a full skeleton, like complete altogether, but just enough to resemble like the bone structure of what seems like to be these gnolls.
Right.
What do you do?
So oddly enough, not oddly enough, but almost poetically enough, I still have Rico's, Brewer's, and Smith's tools, because he wasn't strong enough to carry them. So what I'm going to do, since I am not necessarily understanding what they are just yet, I'm gonna pull out something from the Smith's tools, like a metal rod or whatnot, and I'm gonna throw it over there and pretty much on top of them, like right in
on
between
top.
them. Yeah.
Okay. Now, okay. This I have to do here. Just go ahead and make a sleight of hand check, because obviously you don't want to like alert the things nearby you.
My hand's not my best. 9.
9? Okay. Good news. You do toss it, but it makes clink, 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 like scattered, like banging noises throughout one of the bone structures of the corpses nearby you. Guys, you hear the gnoll in front of you. He going. So at the moment, still asleep. As far as this gnoll in front of you, that's on this cliffside, goes. Seems like they haven't woken up yet, surprisingly. So luckily, the noise didn't attract anything. And also the rest of the party hears it too. So.
But nothing with nothing with the skulls? Nothing with the skeletons?
Say again, I didn't hear you.
Nothing with the bones?
Bones stay stationary, nothing happens or anything like that.
I'm gonna start making my way over to the sleeping knoll on the right. No, no, that's wrong. No, sorry. I'm gonna stay here for now.
Okay. What does the rest of the party do?
Move up to here. I pull out my new blowgun and I keep an eye on the gnoll on the ledge. He wakes up. I'm going to shoot him.
I get down next to Ichabod and I say, I can take out the gnoll up on the ledge.
Can you take him out without making a sound? I got these drow darts that puts people to sleep.
I have my ways.
Okay. But I keep the blowgun out. Ready
Yes.
to shoot
Just in case.
Please.
Okay.
And I'm going to stealth my way up there. So I'm going to roll stealth real quick.
Sure, we'll go ahead and make a stealth check.
Ah, almost a 20. I got a 13. I'm going to move
13.
my way over here.
Okay, hold on. Let me just go to radio. Okay. Let me just roll something real quick. Okay, continue.
Got
And
a
I'm
24
gonna-
on my stealth check.
I'm going to slowly start walking up this cliff face.
Okay. What is your movement speed?
40.
40? Okay. Yeah, so you have enough movement to just make it there. Just make an athletics check for me. Oh wait, you don't need to. You have your slippers. I keep forgetting. All right. You climb up with your slippers with the greatest of ease. Based on the stealth check and based on the check on the sleeping gnoll, as you climbing up, you slowly approach it. You hear go, and it's doing a half get up, but just as you think he is about to get up, he goes, just goes back to sleep as you are making your way up. Also, before you do anything else, make a perception check for me.
Dirty.
Nice. Okay. I reveal more of the map. So as you get up there, you're being very perceptive because you act as the team's overwatch, of course. Because you're constantly looking around and such, you see some information. So you do see this other sleeping gnoll just hang off the side of this cliff, at the platform immediately above you. Do you also see this black line here?
Yeah, I see it.
This is rope that is clearly goes down that you could climb up it if you so desire to. But this is what you see. You see the next ledge above, another sleeping gnoll. Continue.
And I'm going to stunning strike the gnoll that I'm right next to.
Okay. Make an attack roll with advantage because he's prone.
It's not that type of. I guess I have to at least hit.
Yeah. Then to see if it could possibly wake up the gnoll. Usually I would just allow it, but because there's an enemy nearby, it raises stakes.
So I got a 22 to hit.
That definitely hits. So roll your damage and treat it as if it's a critical hit because he's unconscious.
He has to make a Constitution save, DC 16.
Okay. What'd you roll for damage?
I didn't. I'm doing a stunning strike. I'm doing a key point. Doing a monk
Okay.
thing.
All right.
No, that only happens when
You still get damage though, so.
What were you gonna say, Axis?
I was saying stunning strike happens once you make a hit on someone, so you have to make an attack.
Yeah.
Yeah, he hits, and just go ahead and roll damage for me because I did roll, but determine on how much hit points you do, it could
16.
change things. 16 total,
Mhm.
and that's treating as if it was a crit, right?
Yes.
Okay. Luckily for you, it dies because he rolled a natural 20 on his con save. So you just kick his throat in, and someone goes, not making a noise, just collapsing to the ground, basically dead where he slept.
Do I see this?
You do see this. You see Kodo just stepping on this, but you don't see this null above you though. But
That's
you
fine.
see him. You see him take it out one of these nulls stealthily.
I'm
I
gonna
point
stop.
towards you, Axius. Do the hand wave thing, and I point up to the ledge. And I pull out my bow, and I get my, and I knock an arrow, and I point down to Ichabod, and I do the same motion.
Okay.
Up towards the ledge.
You guys
I-
both know that there's a null there now.
I'm
Yeah,
gonna
and
make my way. What?
And I got my arrow ready, but I kind of do the head nod to you, Axius, basically signaling that I'm ready to move when you're ready to move. And I got this guy dead to rights.
All right. What do the two of you do?
Making my way back to the snow that's up top here.
Okay. Make a stealth
Okay.
check for me. And you're gonna make it there. Okay. Anea and Amber are gonna follow behind you.
10.
Go ahead and make stealth check. 10. Okay. Ichabod, what's your stealth check?
21. As I
You are
stand here, I wave them to go by me while I'm watching the three skeletons to see if they get up.
Okay. So, Axis, what'd you roll for your stealth again?
10.
Okay. This null doesn't seem to pay attention to you. Luckily, Anea and Amron rolled their checks well, so they're gonna go around here. They're gonna start doing that. Just go ahead and make a stealth check for your beast, Axios.
Beast stats. I've been rolling great. Let's see. It's a straight roll because he has no dex mod. Wait a
Mhm.
second.
And you say you're going up to it, right?
What's up?
You say you're going up to this null, right?
So let me
Okay,
roll.
I'm just gonna put you right next to him.
16.
16. Yeah, surprisingly enough, this giant demonic looking goat is keeping silent, especially with blue on his back. Okay, so Axios, you are nearby this null. It has not noticed you. I need you to make a perception check now.
14.
Okay. Let me just check something real fast here. You have dark vision. Okay. So, with just a 14, you notice something nearby you. Let me just get my fog tool out. 1 second. As I am unfogging this area. So you see another cliff face nearby you just ahead. However, what you notice with your check is that you get the feeling something is there. Maybe one of these, another null thing, but you aren't too sure of like where he's at. But you get the feeling based on your blind sense that there's probably another one of these nulls nearby just from the constant like storing and the laughing that's been going on as of late. Other than that, you do see this rope that is hanging off here nearby.
Alright, I'm gonna try to kill this snow in front of me.
Okay. Make an attack roll with advantage.
Oh, screw me dice.
You have advantage, so you should be good.
21 to hit.
That definitely hits. Roll damage.
Do I treat it as a crit?
Yep. Because he's
So-
unconscious.
Alright, so that's 15, and then roll a d10. (15 plus 3), that's 18.
Yeah. How do you like to kill him?
What will keep him quiet?
Slit his throat.
Can I just try to behead him? Can I just try to behead him?
Oh yeah,
before
you
he
can
has a chance to
definitely do
react?
that. Sure. You behead the. It goes.
When he kills his guy, I'm shooting my guy with a Kinsey
Okay.
shot.
So, Kodo, you just watch from a distance Axius just like behead this null cleanly. He has to like kind of. It's so much so that as he's pulling out his you have a glaive, right?
Halberd.
Halberd, excuse me. So you see him try to pull out his halberd out from the behead, but because the beheading was so gruesome, like it kind of sticks to the blade part of it as he is pulling it, and you just see the head just dangle a bit before it just falls, and that's your cue. You're like, oh shit, and then you pull the trigger. So go ahead and
I
make an
hit
attack roll.
My hit was 25.
25 to hit, and that's regular attack roll, right?
I thought we were going advantage.
That's for prone. This guy is for ranged attacks. It's different. So it is disadvantage because it's range attacks and he is prone. So it's making a slightly harder target to hit. For melee attacks, it's prone. For range attacks, prone, it's disadvantage. But we'll see how.
Makes no
good it
sense
makes
to me because he's sleeping.
It's always been that way.
I know
You
it's
know
a
what?
rule,
How
but
about
it's
this?
still.
How about this? Make just a regular attack roll at that point because
I
you
could
do
be
have
okay
sights
with
on him.
that.
Yep, regular attack roll, compromise. So.
Because I'm pretty good with the gun, and I could tell you stationary targets are a lot easier to hit than moving targets.
Oh yes. So go ahead, regular attack roll. I'll say
24.
definitely hits him. Roll damage.
Is damage regular damage, or are you
It's
doing
regular
crit?
damage, yeah. Oh wait, nope.
Yeah,
Critical hit because he is unconscious. My apologies.
okay. And this is a Kinsey shot, so I add a D4 to this.
Okay.
Ha! 17.
Yeah, you kill him. You shoot him straight right in the face. It goes, yeah, and you just see his head just dangling with your arrow at the edge of this cliff.
And I look down to Ichabod, and I give the all clear sign.
All right, Ichabod, what do you do?
I'll move 5 feet up closer to the skeletons. I see their
Okay.
eye sockets.
You see that they have empty eye sockets.
I keep waving the girls past me, but
All right.
I don't want to. I want to play rear guard until the girls get past. So if these
Okay.
things pop up, at least we have a fighting chance.
I'm gonna make a stealth check for them. Okay. So we just check stats.
I'm gonna telepathically tell my steed, trample those bones if need be.
The beast goes. The
Snap.
Amron and
Look at
Anea
the beast.
both make their stealth checks. So far halfway through, they are stealthing through. That being said, let me just roll here. Axius and Kodo, you hear a few more laughters going based on your past actions. However, other than those snoring laughs, nothing else you hear. So that being said, Koto, what would you like to do? You killed two gnolls.
I'm doing Overwatch. Basically, I'm helping out Ichabod until the women folk are past the skeletons, and then I'm gonna go up the face that's right next to me.
Okay.
I'm basically
wanna
helping out Ichabod.
Okay. If you want to change your positions, you can, but that's to you. Axius, what do you want to do?
I'm going to stealth my way towards this rope.
Make a stealth check.
$25. There we go. Oh, it's a natural 20.
Yeah.
Of course.
You're stealthy as fuck.
I didn't see anything. Do I see anything else from moving to this position?
Make a perception check.
22.
22. Okay. Maybe reveal more of the map. One moment, please. I'm revealing more of the map. Okay. Sorry, it's taking a while. Again, this map is so good that I have to do corners. Okay. Almost done here. Alright. And you say you rolled a 20 for your check?
Of my perception or stealth?
Perception.
22 for my perception.
Okay. So you would see this. Okay, so as you're adjusting your sights, you do see that the path continues further up, and you do see another knoll just like laying down towards this cliffside here, just catching some Z's. Other than that, you do see another rope here that you climb up.
Do I see anything
Other
on
than
top
that, you
of the
see
rope that's in front of me? Do I see what's
So
there?
based on this cliffside here, and based on your general view looking up, you do not see anything else above here.
Okay.
So would you? I'm assuming you would like to climb up such rope.
No, I see an enemy. I'm going to kill an enemy. So I'm going to sneak my way the long way over towards
Okay.
that rope.
Okay. Make another stealth check for me.
22.
22. You are stealthy. All right. You're making your way there. You could go ahead and just move your token.
All the way there? All right.
Yep. We're not in official combat, so.
Cool. And I'm going to behead this one as well.
All right. Before you do, I gotta reveal more info. As you're about to behead this fool. I guess I can reveal the rest of the map, I guess. I'm just going to reveal the rest of the map, just because. Okay, so this is what you see. You see another knoll further ahead that is also sleeping, that is like approaching the rest of the path upward. You do also see this circular cave, it seems, towards the side of the mountain. Other than that, you do see further down, what you didn't see before is this knoll who looks significantly more different, a little bit more armored, and it seems to have some kind of a crossbow, but seems to actually, excuse me, has a bunch of javelins nearby him, but he is clearly falling asleep and has not paid attention, as he has been sleeping the whole time. That is what you see. Two other knolls, this circular cave on the side of the mountain, and this other knoll hanging around this area. That being said, would you like to do anything now that I'm giving you that info?
As long as I can quietly behead this one, that's one less person to kill.
Yeah, you are still... Excuse me.
In the
So,
time it
if you
took him to get around this area, and the rest of the party sneak past those skeletons.
Well, we'll get to that in a second. So, go ahead and just make your attack.
With advantage?
Yes, of course, because you're next to a prone target.
23 to hit?
Definitely hits. Roll your damage.
So that's a 15 plus a d10. Another 18 damage.
You kill him. You slice his head off cleanly this time as the head starts to roll down the hill.
Am I within eyesight of anybody?
As far as what, your allies?
Yes.
Yes, you can see everyone down here.
So they can see me?
No. Because you are so high up and because of the cliffside, Kodo might be able to see you, but the rest of the party definitely doesn't.
Right.
Just because of where you are height-wise.
I'm gonna just start
Stealth check.
blood off my blade. Just sniffing it, not licking it, just like smelling it.
Smells gory as fuck. Okay. Okay. Luckily enough, no still don't hear you. Good news is that Aaron made it around without alerting anyone. That being said, Ichabod, what would you like to do?
What about the horse?
The horse is right behind you, so it will go after you and Kodo go. Alright. Cool.
I'll go. Like I said, I'm keeping an eye on these skeletons. I don't trust them for popping up and doing anything.
Okay. Kodo, you
I
climb
got,
up.
got my long sword and the blowgun out. At least I can get
Alright.
one shot off.
Alright. Kodo, you go upwards. Based on sight wise, you are able to see this one. And your regular sight's 30. And you think based on height wise, you guys are on the same horizontally. So you do see this knoll further ahead of you. Clearly looking different from all the other knolls that you see, as it has like a ton of javelins right next to him. But you do see these two. This one a bit further away, just straight out of your eyesight. You do see like a humanoid looking figure over here. So that being said, what would you like to do, Kocha?
I'm basically just pulling Overwatch.
Okay.
I get my bow ready, and I look at Axius, give him the nod that I'm ready to shoot,
All right.
and I'm basically doing Overwatch for the rest of the party that's going up the hill.
All right.
Once these guys get like right here, that's when I'll take out this last person.
Okay.
But I'm basically doing Overwatch on these two guys. I'm assuming
Okay.
the Axios is gonna come up and kill him, but just to make sure if he misses somehow, I'm gonna put one through his throat, just so he doesn't alert this guy before our party members get past.
Okay.
But really not moving.
All right. Axios, go ahead and make your stealth check for your beast.
I was actually going to say my beast is not moving because he's sticking back with Ichabod, just in case.
Okay, so he's just gonna stay put where he's at.
He's literally sitting there unless Ichabod moves. Or the skulls move, actually.
Okay. So he will
Looking
sit
at-
down.
Looking at the demon thing with his stern face and pointing to get over here.
All right. That being said, Axios, what would you like to do?
Let's go kill the last one. Let's go kill the last snow that I know can be killed.
Okay. Make a stealth check.
This is the one. 9.
9. Okay. For a second, you think that this gnome might get up, going. You see him blink, like blink, 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 but eventually just going back to his fetal position state before going up to you. Have like a mini heart attack. You're like, oh my god.
No, I was going to swing on him regardless, like whether he was going to wake up or not. Like he's
Fair
going to
enough.
get swung on. Like
In that case, make your attack roll with advantage.
27 to hit.
Definitely hits roll damage. Treat it as a crit.
15 plus. That's the wrong dice. Sorry, give me 1 second.
Mhm.
So that was 2 d10s. That shouldn't be. There we go. 1 d10. 15 plus 5, so that's 20.
Yep, you kill him. You behead him as well. Your third beheading. You're getting pretty good at this stuff now. And the other Null, just falling asleep. By the way, if you decide to loot these corpses, they each have a regular short sword and chain shirts. If you guys like to pick that up at any point as you climbing up or what have you. But Kodo, you see Axios behead a third Null. What would you like to do?
I'm not doing anything. I'm on Overwatch because I know there's still one person out there. and we still got 3 more party members coming up the path. I'm gonna stay right where I'm at because he's within range. I can still keep an eye on the rest of the party and Axius from where my point is. So I'm not doing anything.
Okay. Actually, so at this point, you look further down. You do see this other gnoll clearly wearing something different, and in comparison to the other gnolls, like it's clearly maybe their leader with a bunch of javelins right next to him. You do see that. You do also see rope that leads down straight towards them. Ichabod, what would you like to do with the woman of the group?
I'll point the 2 ladies up into this little corner right here. Tell them to stay. Look back to Buttercup the demon goat. Come here! Get over here! Then I want to sneak back and take all the skeletons' heads and throw them over the sides.
Oh, thank you very much, Ichabod, for that. So, as you start to pick up one of the skeletal heads, you, for some reason, it goes and does this horrific laugh because it has no lips. It just sounds terrible. So these corpses start to animate themselves. Oh, that's one. Okay, and you see like these withering gnolls start to rise from their place, surprising you. You're like, holy shit! At this point, Axius, your steed is gonna charge forward. So go ahead and make an attack.
How many feet did he move to reach them?
So he was here. So based on his size, 5, 10, 15. So if you're trying to do the charge straight, you can definitely do that.
So that's +5 to hit. So give me 1 second.
See if you hit these withering gnolls.
19 to hit.
That hits. They have very low armor class. So roll your damage, and this will be applied to all 3 of them.
Okay, so that's 3d6 plus 3 because of the charge attack.
Mm-hmm.
And now everyone knows why he was so far back. Oh, dang, that's so low rolls. So 1, 2, and 1. 7 damage.
7 damage. It's so close to beating them, but not enough. So
and they have to make a DC 13 strength throw or be knocked prone.
They succeed with the 13 on the dice, plus 2, so 15 total. So they are still standing. You guys just hear crashing against the wall. The withering nose go. At this point, they're on death's door. If anything, Koto, you are holding for anything. What would you like to do?
Has that sleeping gnoll been notified of all these undead?
Well, I'm glad you asked because I just rolled it and I rolled a 16 on his perception check. This gnoll wakes up because of all the chaos, and so that being said, what would you like to do?
Shooting him.
Attack roll, just a regular attack roll.
Doing the key strike. I don't think I hit him. 15.
15. Hang on. 15 just hits his armor class, so go ahead and roll damage.
Nice.
But it will be half damage because it's his armor class.
Fine. Plus 3, so that's 12. So I did 6 points of damage.
6 points of damage. It wakes up with an arrow straight to the shogun, goes and stands up. At this point, Ichabod, you're considered surprised. So what's everyone's dex modifier? Because I'm not going to do full initiative here.
Plus 5.
Plus 2.
Plus 3.
3. Amron's is 3. And Aya's is 1. The pack lord is 2.
My elk is 0.
I'm
Oh,
not
it's
gonna
an elk.
roll for
I'm sorry. I called it a goat.
Goat, elk. It's from hell. That's
the Withering Knolls. Dex modifier is a -1, so they're gonna be definitely last. Alright. So coach so just on Dex mods, Kodo, you are up. What would you like to do?
Shooting. Boss man.
Alright. Attack roll.
And this is my full attack, right? We're not just doing one?
Yep, this is full combat at this point.
Okay. 28 to hit.
Hits, damage.
10.
10 damage. You shoot another arrow. It hits.
13.
13 that will not hit him. He dodges out of the way of the third one.
Key strike. 15.
Just hits his armor class.
Okay. Uh, 15 half would be
7.
7. So
Alright.
that's all me. That's what I do.
Alright. You shoot 2 arrows. He's starting to get weak. He is bloodied at this point. Next one. Well, it's a tie between Ichabod and Amron, so Ichabod, you go first.
Alright. I got my longsword out, so I'll take a swing at the one nearest me.
Okay.
19 to hit.
Hits, damage.
11 points.
You kill him. As he goes down, he will use his ability called Vengeful Strike. So when he rolls 0, he can use this reaction to do an attack. Basically, 1 hit before he goes down, which he'll miss. So you just see this barely standing withering knoll just trying to go, and you're surprised because usually when you hit the killing blow, they would go down, but this one went down swinging. And as its corpse lays down, its bones scattered.
Alright. Move up and take my second swing at the one in front of me.
Gotcha.
$24.
That will hit.
For 11 points of damage.
Also will kill. He is going to also use Vengeful Strike with his club. 18 to hit.
Yeah, it hits.
You take 8 points of bludgeoning damage as he whacks you with a spiked club before his bones scatter across.
8 points damage.
Of
All right.
bludgeoning damage.
And I got the blowgun in the other hand, but I don't think the blowgun's going to work on undead. Because I'm done.
That's it?
I got the blowgun in my other hand, and I don't think it'll do any damage to it. Or cause it to go unconscious. So I'm done. I only have 2 attacks. My main.
Alright. Next is Amron. Amron says, do you need help there, Ichabod?
No, use the crossbow. Shoot the guy on... Can she see him? Because they were supposed to be up here. Supposed to
with
be
a natural...
here.
Yeah, so with the... Where are they supposed to be? My apologies. They're supposed to be like, what, right here?
I sent him up to here to stay... But if she steps around the corner, can she see the guy up there?
Well, I just rolled. She rolled a nat 20, so yes, she does see the guy there. She'll go over there. You said they're going to be, like, hanging in this corner, right? Or in this corner?
Yeah.
Okay. Slight mistake, but we'll correct it. She will shoot with her hand crossbow. So let me just check your stats for it here. She gets a +7 to this. Just hits his armor class, which is a D8 +4. 9 damage. Half that to 4. She shoots one. You hear her. Ah! you see at this point, Axios, since you're looking down, you see your wife, Amryn, just nailing one of the last remaining Knoll. She gets one attack per action. That sucks. She'll use your bonus action to load the crossbow and be prepared to shoot another bolt. Axios, you're up. You see your wife do this. What would you like to do?
How wide is the cliff that this knoll is on?
How wide it is? It's about 5 foot wide.
Okay, so I can't do any crazy stuff on this ledge. Okay.
You gotta be careful here.
Can
What
I
you
do a
doing?
perception check to see if there's anyone, like, if there's any other threats around, if that makes sense?
You don't need to. Other than this knoll and like whatever corpse is there, there's no remaining threats.
Okay. This is what I want. This is what I want to do. I want to make my way down there. Make my way here to his range so he can see me.
Okay. So before you do that, I'm assuming you're climbing down the rope, right?
No. Yeah.
Because how are you getting back?
Huh?
I don't see a rope.
I see the rope. It's just I wanted to.
Oh.
I was gonna drop kick him off the ledge, but I feel like this is not wide enough for me to make that check. No, I'm using my own dagger, pitching it into the ground and using that down.
Okay, you do so. So, cause you're going down, I'm assuming you want to putting it back here. You're assuming you want to do it here, right?
No, I was gonna do it where the rope is, but I'm not using the rope.
Ah, I see. So you're gonna go here, and you're gonna use your dagger to attack. Yes.
Yes.
Okay. Let me just 1 second, because like when it gets to vertical feet, it's different.
If it's too much, I'll just jump. I'll just use the rope to climb down.
The range of your dagger is 20 feet, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, you can hit him. Yeah, you can hit him with that. Just within your range.
Do I have to declare smites before or after a hit?
You don't have to
I'll,
declare them before.
There's two people saying. What was that?
He said, "I will
so
allow it."
For smites, I will allow you after the fact. But noticing that the other dolls didn't have hit points, but this knoll clearly is a little bit more tougher. It's up to you whether you want to use your smites or not. You can use it before or after a roll. It's up to you. But before dice is rolled.
Sorry.
But he is bloodied, though. I will say that.
No, what I want to do is I want to use a thunderous smite, and if he fails that throw, he'll be blown back 10 feet off the cliff.
If you want to do that, that's fine by me.
Thunderous Smite's a little bit different than your Divine Smite. Thunderous Smite, you have to use bonus action to get the
so he's going to
Thunderous
bonus
Smite going.
action it, and then he's going to do it with his dagger. That's what he's
Yeah.
saying. And his dagger has a rope, so that'll definitely hit. If you want to do that, you can definitely do that. So
Okay, that's what I'm doing. So that means I still
attack
I
roll,
like his
see if
little-
you hit.
I love his rope dagger. That's the coolest thing I've seen in the game.
I'm not losing my dagger. That's a natural 20! Holy shit! Oh, that's a natural 20.
What's the save?
It's a 13? 1 sec. Let's see. It's a
And what kind of check is it?
Strength 13, yeah.
13. Yeah. So you describe what your thunderous smite looks like to the viewers.
I imagine how it would be with the halberd, that I was gonna bend the halberd back so it like moved at supersonic speed. So for this one, I guess I'm swinging the rope around the dagger as fast as I could until I like release it with this thunderous force energy. That like,
All right.
it's like an air pocket through the dagger.
Nice. So you're spinning it. The lightning is slowly conjuring into this twirl of a dagger. You toss it scorpion style. From Kodo's viewpoint and from the rest of your viewpoint, it looks like you're tossing a thunderbolt to this knoll. It hits him in the leg, and as it hits him in the leg, this pocket that he's under just explodes with this thunder smite, and he just goes falling to the cliff, falling down towards the cliff. and over the mountain range, as this knoll is dead. And there are no more enemies. Is there enemies? Yeah, there's one withering knoll.
There's
left,
still
but
one.
There's still the one. But he goes dead last, though. So, is that going to be Axios?
Yeah, I'm more than satisfied with what just happened. Yeah, I'm beaming.
It would have been the nose goal, but he fell off the mountain. So Nea's go. She's unsure of what to do. So seeing that the threat's down, she'll just climb towards this way. Elks go before the withering knoll does. What will the elk do?
Let's see. Let's check his stats. Hooves. He has hoof attack, so that's what he's gonna do.
All right, he's gonna stomp them out.
Still +5 to hit. 16 to hit? Oh no,
Hits.
+5, 21 to hit.
Definitely hits.
Check his damage. 2d4 plus 3. So 10 damage?
10 damage. He's gonna do his strike, which will miss the knoll. Just it goes before you get even strike. He goes down as he gets stomped on, and as he tries to swing his club, it whiffs, and the club just goes flying off the side of the mountain as this withering knoll dies. At this point, combat is over, and you have free range to walk, move around, and what have you. You guys clearly see that there are no threats. That being said, what would you all like to do?
This has been so long. Anea has breastplate armor, is that correct?
She has... One moment. I'm looking up her stats. She has a chain shirt on.
So same as the nose. Okay.
Yep. And there's plenty of short shorts to go around.
I'm gonna collect my arrow that's in this knoll that I'm right next to.
Yep. You collect one. Yep, you just collect one arrow because the other two are stuck on the knoll.
Three arrows that Axios now owes me because he blasted the guy off the cliff before I could get my arrows. And I am definitely gonna
buy those arrows off me.
Nah, I got him off the wizard.
No.
Oh, you didn't. There's no
All those arrows you carrying has a little ironized symbol on it.
Yeah, you took it right before the city siege. Yep, you took 60 of them. That's from the wizard.
You know how many I have
Right.
left? I only have 46 left.
I was gonna say 48, but yeah.
Yeah. What did it?
You said
Did I find anything on the skeletons?
Other than like the clubs, which are like spiky clubs, not much. It's just bones and whatever beats is left on them.
Oh.
You get the feeling that these have been dead for a couple days, which is weird.
All right.
So eventually, all of you gather. Go ahead.
As I'm going up, I'm checking the other bodies.
The other bodies have chain shirts and short swords. All right. You guys have...
That's a lot of weight.
Yep. The chain shirts are your basic chain shirts, and they're in good condition. You get the feeling they probably stole it off of like whoever else came past by, maybe. But all right. So eventually, you guys gather to the top where you see, obviously, the path continuing upward, and you also see this perfect circular hole in the side of the mountain, and you could tell that it is a cave of some sort. And the sky is slowly brightening up, and it's almost to where, Kodo, you could see almost all your vision. That being said, what would you like to do?
Do we want to explore this, or do we want to continue?
Quick look around wouldn't hurt. Maybe we'll find some other scrolls or something. Or even healing potions. And I'll go in and look around.
I'm gonna take my steed in blue up the mountain just to see what's ahead.
Okay, so you set Blue aside. Blue is at this point just barely standing. You on your mount, Axios?
No. Blue is on the mount. I'm walking with the mount up the mountain.
Up
So
the mountain? Okay.
yeah, because I
Photo.
don't think it's. Is it big enough for the steed to go through the cave?
Um, let me see real quick, because I gotta give dimensions of the cave because of the way this map is so good. Angular wise, it doesn't help me much. So 1 second here. I'll tell you guys the exact dimensions in a second. The dimensions are the dimensions are 10 by 10. So it's basically a 10 by 10 cave. So you're technically your steed can fit in it, but it's gonna take up a lot of space.
Yeah, no. So yeah, I'm just gonna walk up the mountain and scout ahead a little bit. Not too far ahead, but
Okay. All right. Your wife will join you, of course. Kodo, what are you doing?
I'm gonna give Ichabod some support.
Okay. And then Anea will just stick around. And as you guys see the party split up, she says, "So we're going in the cave, or are we going up this mountain here?"
I'm just gonna stealth in, look around, see what's in there. If there's anything that can help us, I'll take, and I'll be right out. But it's up to you.
Please
gotta-
stay here. If something happens to us, alert the rest of the party. Okay.
All right. Right. So Koto and Ichabod, you guys go into this cave. As you do, you start to realize that this cave is circular in dimension, but the circular carving is like too perfect. It's like a perfect circle 10 by 10 that goes straight in. You see basically sleeping quarters of the gnolls, other than like some scattered human remains and some half-eaten corpses of set humans. You do see further down what seems like to be an old fire that was recently snuffed out. It seems like. Other than that, excuse me, the path continues for you, Kodo. If you do continue down this path, you will basically be blind as a bat. You're next to Ichabod.
Do we want to continue?
I can stealth ahead. If anything, I can, sneak in, look, sneak back out if I
I
don't
can
see
relight
anything.
this fire, and I can stay in the light of the fire and give you some cover.
All right.
All right. I'm gonna light the fire.
Okay. You take a piece of the wood and you lit it ablaze. You now have vision. Do you guys continue down this path? Okay. So you guys continue further down this path. As you do, you see the tunnel is still in this perfect circular shape. It's odd. And you just keep continuing further down, further down. At this point, you've been feet wise 100 feet into the mountain. You guys could talk amongst yourselves if you want to. You two have time to privately talk amongst yourselves.
Oh, I ain't saying shit.
Yeah,
Noise travels in places like this.
All right.
I keep thief chanting at him and realize, oh, he doesn't know thief chant. Damn it.
What is your guys' passive perceptions?
16.
Well,
What's yours,
15.
Ichabod? 15? Okay.
15.
So you guys start to see the end of a tunnel. It looks like a dead end at first, but as you guys get closer, you see that this tunnel that goes straight starts to curve downwards. And you look down with your 60 feet of dark vision, Ichabod. You see that this perfect circular tunnel goes down in a perfect circular carving, it seems like, more further down. And it's so dark that it gets beyond your dark vision. That's how deep it goes down.
I say we go back.
Yeah. I'm already turned around and walking away when you say let's go back.
Okay.
And I catch up to him like, something made this, and and I don't know if it's still here or not.
Okay.
Are there any writings on the wall while we're walking back up, or is
No.
it like smooth
No, it's
glass all
smooth.
the way back up?
Yeah.
Yeah, you feel the walls around you, and it's weird because usually how carvings work, there would be some like etchings and workings of, carved out, and there are instances where like it can be smoothed out, but that's after the carving process. Judging by the walls and like how far it goes, you're actually quite impressed that something would carve this further down.
Yeah.
Not only
Above
down towards
table,
inside the.
it might be fun to play with a purple worm, but I don't want to do that in character. Not today.
Could be a purple worm, could be something else. Who knows?
Could be something way worse than a purple worm.
Mhm.
But
So you guys make your way out. At this point, Axius, you get above the mountaintop of the Dawn Pass as the road continues upwards. Excuse me,
I
I
come
might be a
running
bit
out and I
congested.
look at Alea. Run! Run!
Alright, so Axius, you see with your wife and your steed with blue on top, basically the other half of the world map. You see on top of this mountain. One moment, please, as I go to my map. So, at the top of the Great Peak Mountains, on top of the Dawn Pass, you see to your right a massive forest that it's the biggest forest you've seen ever, and it almost covers your entire right side of the view. As you get on top, you start to look up, and for a moment you think you might actually see the sun since this apocalypse, but because of the clouded area, it's just barely showing the rays through. And as you look to your right, you see this like massive forest. You look to your left, you do see this massive, seems like to be you think it's an ocean, but then again, you see the ocean way further out in the distance. But you do also see like this big, large lake. It seems like immediately to your left, right across from the forest. It's straight ahead as the landscape starts to shift downwards. You do see a few towns further ahead. Whether they're destroyed or not, you have no clue whatsoever. But what does catch your eye is that towards like the coastal area, you start to see like a crap ton of smoke on the other towards the end of the coastal area. And that is basically the general layout of what you see is the big forest to your right, big lake to your left, a couple towns here and there that you see, and then towards the coast area, you see just smoke.
Is Anea with us, or is it just?
No.
Wow.
She's like in between. This is while Ichabod and Kodo are traveling in the tunnels.
And I have no idea what the other half of the scroll is, right?
Nope. Half of it's Elvish, half of it's some other language.
I have no idea where to try to go. I look at Amber and I was like, "You want to take a swim? Should we go there?"
Seeing
I don't see this coast that you're talking about, man.
I'm talking about the Sword Coast, but that's way further down.
That's miles. There's no way you could see it.
He sees the smoke.
Well, there's the lake
I don't
down
think you
by
could even see that.
Housewood.
Okay,
We're
regardless.
talking about 800 miles.
All right, so
Osmodeus is
So-
velocity.
Sheesh.
either ways, regardless, that is what you see about. Anywho, you do. Emran says to you, well, there is she points out like some of the towns that she can see. This is, there could be something in there. Maybe while we go look for supplies, maybe we'll find either something or someone that could help us with the scroll.
In those towns.
Well,
Or there could be an entire undead in those towns, and we're gonna clear it all out.
there's been undead everywhere, Axios. How is this any different?
I want to go swimming. Like, it's right there. Look at it. Swimming.
That's very far away, and seeing all that, and she points to the smoke that you see way further in the distance. I don't want to get involved with that.
For all you know, that's exactly where the scroll is. They're probably fighting for it right now. Whatever.
Fighting?
What up?
Who says there could be anything over there? Let me just check her intelligence real quick. See if she would know this or not. One moment. Let me roll for history for her. Okay, it's not that bad. She says, "You do know the cities are over there, right?"
I've never been in a city. What are you like? You say cities as if I know the concept of a city.
Where I was taken, we've been through cities, and the last time I was in the city, it was swarming with these undead, and I nearly almost died. I do not want to go in a city.
But like you said, if a city has what we need to cure blue, we're gonna have to.
I say these towns might need. I'm not going all the way down to these cities.
I mean, we're gonna have to go through the towns to get to the city. I mean, tomato, tomato. God damn.
What do you want to do? I got people on the other side of this mountain that I gotta look after. And obviously your friend Ichabod has family there too. We can't just think for ourselves. I mean, it would be
I am
nice.
thinking about saving blue, but if on the way there happens to be swimming.
Well, if you're so keen on swimming, we could just, as she points to the massive lake to the left, we could just take a dip in there then.
Alright, but if a water hag comes out, you're fighting. And I start walking.
Fair enough.
Walking towards the towns first, and then from there we'll curve towards the lake.
Okay. So that's like days away. So, so at this point, Kodo and Ichabod, you come out of the tunnel, and Aeneas like, "Come, we gotta catch up with Axios. He seems to be going ahead of us."
No idea where he goes. That's foolish.
Well, come on, let's catch up with him. And she goes off to catch up.
I follow. I mean, we're all going the
Right.
same way.
Yep. As you guys make your way down to the Dawn Pass, we're gonna take a quick break. So, get your snacks on, get your grub on, take a bathroom break. We'll be back in about 5 to 10 minutes, and we'll see you guys then. So, we'll be back. All right, take your break, boys. We live? All right. Welcome back. Hope you all enjoyed your break, and now we'll continue to see where our heroes will go. So you guys are traversing down this mountain now. The sky is brightening. The sun, well, it's not fully shining, but it's probably the brightest you've seen the sun in forever. And you guys are traversing down. Axios and Amron are a little bit ahead with their steed. Excuse me, Kodo, Anea, and Ichabod are catching up. So at this point, I want everyone to roll a sec. I want everyone to roll a d6.
3.
2.
Okay. 2.
1.
So anything 4 or higher. A 1. All right. Cool beans. So here's what happens. As you guys are traversing down, eventually Kodo, Ichabod, and Anea catch up. You guys are halfway down through the mountain, and what you see is seems like to be an abandoned camp. You see like an abandoned camp, but what's weird about it is that there's at least you are counting like the sleeping bags that are nearby, and they're taking like this large circular area of the mountain, and there's even a cave that goes further down. It's a traditional like triangular cave. However, what's weird about this cave is that it's clearly not meant for normal sized people, and other than that, you do see what seems like to be 6 sleeping bags in front of it, but other than that, you do see like this like half size cave that goes inside the mountain. What do you do?
What do you mean by half size? Is it just like
So if your average height, it's half that.
so? It's a 2-foot tall cave.
It's about roughly 3.5 feet tall and 5 feet wide.
And how big are the bedrolls?
Normal sized bedrolls.
Perception check.
4.
If anyone's sleeping in those bags.
Make an investigation check.
Investigation check. 22.
From the distance, you could clearly tell that there's no people here. Though through you looking at these bags, you get the feeling that, people have been using them for sure. But it seems like half the size of the bags seem to be curled up, or clearly seeing that half of the bag is clearly not being used, while the other half clearly is.
Halflings or gnomes. Dwarves even. I
There's-
speak dwarf.
There's other creatures that are also small.
In dwarf, I'll say hello in the camp. And I tell you guys to spread out with your weapons out.
What languages
Yeah.
do you speak? Does everyone speak?
Or no?
Okay. Kodo, Ichabod.
I have dwarvish, elvish, orc, and thieves' chant. Besides common.
Okay.
Undercommon, orc, elvish.
You guys hear a bunch of just a bunch of weird gibberish with high pitched noise in a weird Spanish accent. But you guys are not understanding it. But you could tell from the echoing from the small little cave that there's a lot of them inside.
Can I? This is I don't know how to say this correctly. Would I recognize the accent?
Make a history check with disadvantage.
lot of cheering in my life. 6.
It's kind of familiar, but you aren't too sure.
Kobolds.
So, as they're checking, and how far away are we from these sleeping bags and the entrance to this place?
You're right. At this point, if Ichabod's like thoroughly inspecting, you're right in front of the cave. Clearly, there's no one around.
Okay, I'm above the cave, like standing on the side of this place, basically over the cave with my bow and arrow pointed down above them. So if anything
Sure.
comes out of this cave that looks hostile, they're getting an arrow in their head.
Sure. Okay.
That's what I'm doing.
I'll try
Amryn,
it in. I'll try it in
Go ahead,
common.
Ichabod.
Go in the cave.
What'd you say in the cave?
Hello in the cave.
No response.
Common and Dorvish is a no.
If you didn't
Axis,
recognize
try
what
your
they-
devil
no,
speech.
No, because if I knew, if they spoke Infernal, I would have heard what they said. I would have recognized it.
Well, maybe one of them does speak Infernal. Maybe that might be the voice of their master speaking.
I take a big, deep sigh, and I say in Infernal, you guys come out, we won't harm you.
No response. Make a perception check for all three of you. And Naya and Amryn are kind of like holding back a bit, letting the men do the work, of course.
8.
30-20.
Okay.
9.
Okay. So the only person that would hear squeals of pain would be Ichabod. As you could hear it echoing, you're like, the hell's going on? And then it's as you're looking down this tunnel, you see some four-legged creature on fire heading straight towards the front of the cave. With your blind sense axes, you get the feeling that something is coming out of the cave at high speeds, most likely four-legged, but in a way where it's like it's running for its life. That being said, Coda, with your roll, you're just so focused on shooting what's coming out that you're just solely dead focused on that. Since Ichabod's the only one to see and hear, what would Ichabod like to do?
I back up away from the caves. What's ever running out won't hit me. It's on fire.
All right. You see what seems like to be coming out on fire. What seems like to be a wolf that is just running out as fast as it can, going. "Ah!" And it's just on fire. Kodo, you're like, holy shit, what the fuck? And it just
I
leaps
missed.
off the. It just leaps off the cliff, and it just plummets itself further down, so much so that you cannot no longer see it. And then you hear a bunch of and like echoing coming out of the tunnel, but it seems to be a lot more voices than previously.
Could I try to catch the wolf before it goes away?
This, because you rolled low on your perception check, it just catches everyone by surprise. And you're like, what the fuck was that? And then Aenea's like, well, Amryn says, what the hell is going on? What just jumped out of the cave?
Did you catch it?
No!
There's a wolf. Whatever's in there set it on fire and sent it out our way.
Fuck these motherfuckers.
Mhm.
I put my bow away and I gather up their sleeping bags at the mouth of this cave. I catch the sleeping bags on fire to smoke them out.
Okay. You do so.
Start
as
throwing
you're
green brush on it. I'm just
as
making this big plume of smoke going into the cave.
Alright. You do so. big plumes of smoke go into the cave. What do the rest of you do?
Standing there.
I pull my weapons and get ready to fight.
Okay. And Nea instinctively pulls out her weapons too. Time passes. Make another perception check, y'all.
20 natural.
11.
15.
Okay. Kodo, as you're smoking whatever's in this cave, you hear a dog like running, but it's not screeching in pain. It's weird. It's not doing anything. But what you see as you're trying to like clear your vision through the smoke, you see another four-legged beast come out, but because of the smoke and just because you're human, you're barely just seeing it, but you do know something is rushing out of the cave on four
Yeah, I
legs.
shoot it.
Attack roll. Just a regular attack roll.
28.
You definitely hit it. Don't roll damage. You hit it, you go, and it slides out. You see it's another wolf, but what's weird is that it has a stick on the back of it, and hanging in front of it's like this weird piece of rotten meat. And what's your general investigation modifier?
Hold on.
Okay.
+4.
Okay. You're looking at it, and it's strapped with something on it.
Oh, fuck that. Kick it back into the cave.
You kick it back into the cave just in time. You kick it, a big explosion comes out of the cave, and the cave inside just crumples and just seals the cave entrance shut.
We'll just
And
continue
like a
going.
bomb went off.
We'll just continue going.
You're like, yeah, I'm done. Everyone's like, what the hell was that now?
Doesn't matter. It's over. Let's go.
All right, Aaron follows along with your beast. Ichabod, you're muted.
Fucking.
Instantly start looking throughout the trees to see if there's anything in the trees getting ready to shoot us.
There ain't
Alright,
nothing
well,
in trees. Just kobolds.
All right. You guys continue further down. Ichabod, make a perception check since you're actively looking. What is everyone else's passive perception?
16.
Okay.
16.
Okay.
12.
All right. You three clearly see, as you guys are going down the mountain, as you're about to head towards the bottom, you do see what seems like a group of small individuals seem to be going up a mountain. With your perception checks, Kodo and Axius, you clearly see that you see a pack of 12 goblins wearing seems like to be shitty leather armor, and half of them are carrying what seems like to be a deer. And on top of that, there's one goblin that is on top of some weird dog creature, and is just mounting it, leading the charge, as you could see making your way up the mountain. They have not seen you guys yet. What would you guys like to do?
I don't speak
Oh.
goblin, but arrows work just fine.
You haven't even talked to them, and we're gonna go kill. That's what we're gonna do. We're just gonna go and kill.
I
And I'm
mean,
afraid a lot
you.
of that Aaron hears me just based on the
I
conversation
mean,
we had
you.
before.
You run up and slice heads off quite often.
Yes,
You don't
because
talk much either.
Yeah, to survive, not because I'm bloodthirsty, as I'm looking at
I'm
Aaron sarcastically.
Not bloodthirsty. Goblins are bad. Goblins will try to eat us. I don't speak goblin, but my arrows speak for me.
And they do have our dinner with them.
Yes, they have your dinner with them.
I just look back at Aaron.
Yeah, I'm
It's
Yeah,
up to
that's-
you. If you want to talk to them, you can go talk.
I'm just literally looking at Amber the entire time.
Oh, okay. I didn't hear you before.
Yeah, no. Everything I was saying sarcastically, I was looking at Amber as I was saying it to Kodo.
She's giving you the look of. Wow, I just got a message from Scott. She gives you the look of. You clearly have to make a choice, but she's also kind of looking at you with this weird, angry look. Obviously, clearly, she saw you, like, barricade what seems like to be their kind in the mountain, and clearly, just make a general insight check, Axios, to your wife.
I didn't barricade anybody. Wait a minute. I didn't kick a ball.
Well, make an insight check with your wife with advantage because you know her very well.
This is insanity. 18.
Roll one.
I think I can't roll better than 18. Nope, 18. Yep.
18. She's clearly giving you the choice to make, and she's giving you the look of you better make the right choice with all things considered. But it's up to you. What
You ain't
wanna
getting
do.
laid tonight, bud.
What are you doing, Axios? Everyone's looking at you for leadership.
No, I'm not.
I ain't looking at him for leadership. I am focusing. My bow is trained on these goblins as you guys are making a plan.
How far
I'm beginning to salivate thinking about eating deer.
How can I make the right choice in this? Like,
I'm
who's
down
the
to
evil
2
one?
pieces of Minotaur meat. That's not going to get us all there. Food.
It's true. It will not get you all there.
How far away are they?
You can, if they are heading towards the bottom, you're not at the point where you guys clearly see each other, but they're clearly making their way up as you're descending down.
We're going to run into each other eventually.
I literally just like throw my hands up and it's like I don't know what the hell to do.
Okay, he does that, and I shoot the guy off the wolf.
Okay. What's the range on your bow?
600.
Okay, you can definitely hit the guy on top.
23.
So making it. All right, damn, not even okay. 23 hits. Total your damage.
11 points of damage.
All right, you kill this goblin with ease, straight through the head, going. And then you see the other goblins just dropping their shit, pulling out their hand crossbows and just looking around, and you just hear them talking in their goblin language, which at this point, based on your guys' general passive perceptions, it's the exact same kind of language you heard back in the small cave. That being said, these goblins are looking around, they're spreading out, they're clearly laying out a battle plan. Half of them are hiding. Let me just make stealth checks for those hiding. Yep. Some of them are stealth, some of them aren't, but they're just taking battle positions and just waiting there, seeing that an arrow went through basically the leader. You just see this creature that was mounted just run off. What do the rest of you do? They are 250 feet down, by the way.
I'm literally just gonna stand right next to Airman like I had nothing to do with this. Like,
All right, I'm shooting the guy at the last guy in the whole column.
Last guy in the whole column. Okay.
At the furthest. Basically, I'm so they can't run away because they'll trip over their guy. That's what I'm doing. I'm shooting the guy dead last to try to get them to move further up so they don't move down. I'm trying to push them towards us.
Okay. So there's 12. You killed one. Half of them are stealth.
26 to hit.
So well, hold up. We're doing theater of the mind here, so I'm just laying out the battle plan. So there's 12. You killed one. The thing ran off. Half of them are stealth. Half of them are not. So right now, what you could see, as far as circular positioning wise, you only see half of them. And that being said, of that half, you see some clinging to the side to the left, and a little bit further back left. And then there's a few to the right a bit, but that's all you see. That being said, who would you like to shoot? Just the furthest one in the back left that
yeah,
you can see?
26 to hit.
That hits. Damage.
14 points of damage.
Alright. 14 points of damage. You drop another goblin going, ah! That one goes down. Ichabod, what you doing?
You're 250 feet away from us.
Yes. Kodo can see because he has a longbow.
I will. Any way I can stealth down or move between the rocks to get closer?
Oh yeah, you can definitely try to stealth down 250 feet. They're too focused on the sniper that they're not really paying attention. But if you want to stealth, you can certainly try to do so.
19.
All right, your stealth and with your regular movement and dash, you get down 60 feet stealth. Adea says, "So do we stay here or do we go?"
You do what you want. I'm killing all of them. Then we'll
She
have
looks at you
beer.
for She looks at you for guidance, Axius.
Asmodeus, dang it. Just watch our back. Just make sure no goblins come from behind us.
All right. She pulls out her weapons and goes up a bit to where, just in case if anything happens. Amron's gonna look. So you just stand there and did nothing. We could have easily just go around them. We could have at least obviously, speaking was off the table. They don't even understand us. But you just stood there and did nothing. We could have just easily walked around or let them pass.
I didn't shoot a single human. I didn't shoot a single goblin. Odo moves on his own accord, not mine.
That I could clearly see. But
Do
clearly,
I hear this, or are they doing their
up
infernal
to Axiom.
clicking and
Always
whistling?
an infernal. Always an infernal.
okay.
That's what I figured.
So you just hear like demonic stuff going behind you. It's a little distracting, but you're so focused on these little goblin folk.
They're strange brother and sister, anyways. Shooting the next person.
Alright, Aaron continues saying, well, you do know there's other ways than violence, right? We could just let them pass or walk around. And clearly you're the leader of us, and even though Kodo acts on his own accord, and I can't speak for him, clearly, if you would have said something, everyone would have easily listened.
See. I think that's where you're gonna wrong. I think Ichabod's the leader. I am just I'm the overall protector. I'm not a leader. Ichabod, actually, Rico was, but then Rico got, long story. Rico was our leader, and then he got swept up. So we've kind of been the entire time. So I mean, calling me a leader.
And I think you need a grow a pair, babe. And you guys continue just arguing in Infernal. You guys continue arguing in Infernal. So the goblinoids.
Oh wait, I'm too far away. Never mind.
Okay, so the goblins that you see, Kodo, half of them start to stealth. The other half, not so much. You see the other half just like army crawling like around and just going prone and just army crawling it. That being said, what would you like to do?
Shoot another one. The furthest back. We're just gonna keep on. One
Okay.
little, 2 little, 3 little duckies, 4 little, 5
Alright.
little, 6 little duckies.
This I'd have to give you disadvantage because they're being very careful and it's a far distance.
Okay. He shot.
All right. See how well you do.
26.
26 definitely hits.
Plus 4. 15 points of damage.
Yep, you kill another guy. At this point, goblins, seeing that their crew's going down, you hear some kind of command yelling out, and whatever goblins you see head back to the direction they came. And at the moment, combat is over. Ichabod, by the time you move another 60 feet, you're like, oh, there's no goblins left.
Do I see that?
They're still within range. I'm still shooting them as they're running away.
Whatever you see. Okay, make another attack. Because at this point, they're trying to hide and run.
Are they taking the deer with them?
Nope. They're just running away.
19 to hit.
Hits. Damage.
Only 7 points of damage.
Doesn't matter. You killed the goblin. They have low hit points. So you just shoot one right in the neck. At this point,
How
the
many are left?
arguing still going. And
How many
Aya's
are
keeping what? Say,
How many are left?
Take out
Let's see.
5.
there are 5, half of them stealth, 2. Yeah, at this point, you took out the last one, Kodo, that you are able to see, because the rest have just been passing their stealth checks. So for the meantime, you took out whatever remaining goblin you see. Other than that, there is like a full deer just down there.
I'm going to telepathically tell my elk to hunt and kill the rest of the goblins.
Okay. All right. Cool. So, obviously, you put Blue down so he doesn't get hurt, correct?
Oh,
Yes or no?
okay. Gonna put Blue down? No, Daddy.
Otherwise, you're risking Blue's safety too. It's up to you. If you want to have Blue stay on there, you can.
No, because I feel like if he dies, it's also. Yeah, I'm gonna put him down.
All right, you put him down. He's barely standing. You command your steed to go in and hunt. I need you to roll me a perception check while I roll a perception check.
Is my perception? Oh, it's a straight roll. Okay. For the elk or for me?
Just roll a percentile check. See how
Percentile?
successful your elk is hunt.
Oh,
Yep,
percentile.
just to see how
Understood.
successful
Perception.
he is. Percentile.
Roll 60.
60? Okay. Your elk comes back with 4 goblin corpses just mounted on his horns.
I telepathically say to him as we're still arguing.
What do you say to him?
That's good. That's good. Oh no. Also, I say you can eat them if you want, if you're hungry.
He rips a corpse off his horn. The way he does it, he just takes like the body and just like pulls it, and the head, it just like whole and like head and blood and sinew just pulls out and goes as he eats it. Aeneas kind of disturbed by it, and Aeneas says while you're arguing in Infernal, is that she's just a little, she's scared clearly from the eating of such goblinoid as this elk pulls like another one off his horn and just eats the second one.
And look at it, it's like, yeah. I forgot to feed him. We've been busy.
I forgot to feed him. Alright. She's still creeped out by it. Kodo and Ichabod, what are you two doing while you see Axius arguing with his wife? You guys are at the bottom of the mountain at this point.
I'm stealthing towards the deer to drag it off to a different location.
Yep, you stealth up. You drag the deer. You're closer to you
Collecting
guys.
arrows and inspecting the leader.
Sure. You inspect the leader. He has regular studded leather. Other than that, he has a short bow with 8 arrows. However, these arrows are quite odd. They're like more twisted and jagged and have some kind of substance on them.
I take the quiver.
Okay, you take the quiver. So just for now, put 8 goblin arrows. I will not tell you what they do. So. Alright, what are the rest of y'all doing? At this point, the argument is settled, and your wife is just being silent with you, Axios.
I'm just gonna go pull a nail away.
Okay. Sure.
Hey, has my wife seemed a little bit on edge lately?
No. Not until you guys started yelling at each other.
Oh God, she's pregnant.
Yelling is a strong term. I was conversing and I was being yelled at.
Well, you were in an argument, clearly.
One person who's angry is not an argument. It's just one person being screamed at. Anyway, I need to ask you a quick question. Can I put my hand on your shoulder?
Hold on, I have to lower the music. What's your question again?
I need you to lead this group.
Lead. Why?
You said you wanted to step up. And you showed great gusto on that seat. I'm just.
I mean, stepping up as in, like, helping the group more. I don't want to be the leader, clearly. And she points at Ichabod. I mean, if anyone should be a leader, it should be Ichabod. He clearly knows what he's doing. Not that you're not doing what you're doing, but he seems to be the smartest out of us.
I'm gonna take all those slights in stride. You have to understand, we work best as a group when we have a leader who is weak and needs protecting. Rico was that person, but now Rico is gone. And yes, you have been a great fighter, but you still need protecting a little bit. And we work best that way. So you gotta lead us.
I don't think I'm ready for that quite yet. I think you should talk to Ichabod and Kocho.
About making you leader? Good talk. Yes, I'll do that. And I walk away before she retorts.
She kind of looks at you like, that was odd. And she goes to Blue.
I'll yell up from where I am. Will you get your asses down here?
All right. You all catch up with each other.
I've already got the deer up on a tree, skinning it. And
Sure.
Cleaning the gore off my steed.
Mm-hmm.
On
Can we see how
Overwatch.
they can we see how they took the deer down?
They clearly took the deer down with arrows.
Where the arrows hit, the puncture wounds, do they look bad? Like unedible?
Make a survival check.
Can I assist him?
And inspecting the wounds, sure. So roll with advantage.
How do you do that? Just hit it again?
Just roll again. Yeah.
Yeah.
Nice.
30-20.
You clearly see that these puncture wounds, usually when an arrow goes through, it just goes through either through cleanly or you just have to pull it out and there's like cuts from the arrowhead. However, looking at the puncture wounds, you see like there's this weird black substance to it. And it's clearly not normal. So your best wise to not eat that portion as you're skinning it.
But it only goes out a certain way, the black, and then it's regular meat.
Yeah.
Okay.
So instead of like having extras, probably whatever's left over is probably gonna eat for the night. Because you gotta basically carefully carve out to make sure that none of the weird black stuff is touching any of the other parts.
Okay. I'll cut it all up, cook it, and then I might like leave 2 raw pieces of deer for Buttercup.
Okay.
Killer goat.
All right. You
As
gave
he's
that
doing-
meat. Go ahead.
As he's doing all this, I'm gonna check the rest of the goblin corpses, see if there's any more arrows.
You see just regular arrows just going through all the corpses that you kill. You could get about 10 of them.
Sweet.
What bow does Anna use? The girl.
Short bow.
Anea, she uses a short bow.
Now, do you
Expecting the
play
short
that-
bows, they're about the same quality.
I was gonna say, do you do the short bow and a longbow arrow and fire in either bow?
Yeah.
I mean, an arrow's an arrow at the end of the day. There's
Okay.
no like specific, so.
All right. See if she needs any. Photo.
Why?
And she's an archer too. Matter of fact, I think you might need to practice with her. Show her some tips.
Why do I need to practice?
Because you're the one with the bow. I got a blowgun you. God, geez, do what your leader says.
My leaders tell me I need to practice, but I killed 6. Leader sounds like he's not good leader.
Show the girl. Show the girl how to shoot better.
Oh, that's not what you told me, leader. You told me to practice.
Look at me in that tone of voice. Like, go.
Good leadership. If I kill all enemies, she doesn't need to use her bow.
Well, she needs to learn. You need to teach.
Learn to watch me kill all enemies?
No, learn how to shoot so she can kill enemies like you.
Oh.
Make her like you. I taught her how to fight. Axe has taught her how to fight. Now it's your turn.
She won't ever be like me. I could show her how to shoot better. Sure.
And do so. Thank you. Here's a gold piece.
You speak my language, leader.
Okay. All right.
Am I the leader because I got a bag of gold? Is that it?
Ugly human! We'll show you how to shoot better.
Okay. All right, she goes to you. You teach her
Pleasure.
how to shoot.
Where you're cooking, I go through the more fundamentals.
Okay. So go ahead.
Off out of earshot of her brother. I'm like, look, I don't know why, but brother thinks that you don't know how to shoot, but I know that you know how to shoot. So we're gonna stand over here. We're gonna look like we really are practicing, huh?
Okay. Okay, you go practice there. So go ahead and make. Damn, what check would be for teaching? Clearly, it has to be something to do with intelligence. So.
Let's say performance, because if it isn't the charisma to effectively teach it, spot.
Yeah.
I'll let you either make a intelligence check to show her actual skill, or you can do a charisma check to see if you can fake it.
Yeah, let's
up to
do
you.
that intelligence check since I got a +1 at least in that.
Sure. Straight up intelligence roll.
15.
Okay, that's not too bad. You're kind of half-assing it at first. You're like, yeah, you just do this, that, but clearly she's got the basic stuff down. You shoot, you're like, oh, she's actually not too bad. Let me give her some more pointers. And she actually gets better and better as you do so. So just like,
You need to
maybe,
need to
but
get
not as good as me.
better bow.
I haven't found a better bow yet. I just found this.
Yeah. You know what you're doing.
I do.
Why does your brother think that you don't know what you're doing?
Brother. He's not my brother.
Ichabod is not your brother?
No.
You guys look a lot alike.
Ichabod and Axius, and they had others too. I was with my dad, and they came up. They were living in my farm by the time me and my dad came back, and unfortunately, Dad got bit, and he was trying to rest up, and they agreed with Axius and friends that they would help go find my mother. She was hunting, but she never came back. And before we left, she told us to just go without her and that she would catch up. Mom was a great hunter, but I just never saw her came back until I saw Axios came out with her dead body, and at that time, Rico and that silver dragonborn, I don't remember his name, but he killed my dad after my dad turned into one of those things, and I was alone. And since then, I've been with this group. I've I don't like being in this group as much, but it's really all I got.
Yeah, I don't like this group either.
Where did you come from?
Oh, I'm from this area.
Where?
I look around, trying to get my bearing,
Yeah, you
and
are.
then I
Go ahead.
point off to the north. I'm from the high forest.
Oh, so you live in forest as woodsman?
No, I lived with the elves. I hunted with the elves. I earned with the elves. Protected the forest until we couldn't protect them anymore. And then when trying to survive, eat, and work, and weird wizard from the town that we were in gave me a lot of money and gave me clothes to stay with this group. Ichabod gave me a
So,
good bow, so I'm here.
so you're only here because of money?
Yeah. Why would I not? Why would I be here? It make no sense.
But there's why? She kind of like is puzzled a bit, and she says, "You do know there's no place to use that gold, right?"
Bigger cities.
Maybe if they're still up, but I don't know. I just unsure. Axios and his wife are arguing. Ichabod is trying to keep the group together, and Blue is sick. He might turn into one of those things like my dad did if we don't
Yeah,
help him.
I might have to kill Blue, because no one else will kill him.
But he's still up. When I talked with him, he said he could still go. He's getting weaker, but he's just not being able to stand right now. But I think he'll be okay. Maybe if we could help him as fast as possible, maybe we could help him out.
Were they able to help your dad?
They tried to help my dad, but my dad fell asleep. But he came back as one of them when he woke up. They thought they could help him, but they didn't.
So they did not help your dad.
They tried before he fell asleep, but I guess they were too late. I don't know. The full details weren't told to me, but all I know is that mom died in the forest somewhere, and my dad turned into one of those undead things.
So this group that you're with, they told you that your mom died in the forest.
That's what Axios and Ichabod said. They're
That's
the
what they
only two
said.
people from that group.
They said that your dad also turned. Did you see your parents die, or did these people
I
tell
saw
you
my
that these people died?
I saw my dad died. I saw my dad turned, tried to attack Rico and his dragonborn friend, and they killed him because they were attacking him and me. They never really told me how mom died though.
So, next town we go to is Lorik. Before all this happened, it was destroyed. Rebuilt many times. There might be people there. very old mining village, originally built by dwarves. Town
There
is in
might be
good shape.
people there.
That's what I'm thinking. They might be hiding.
At this point, the smell of cooked deer is in the air. Smells like dinner's ready.
Go get food. I'm gonna stay watch.
Okay, just be careful, Koto. And she walks off. So, Anea comes back. You three and Blue are eating. And Anea says, Koto says he's gonna keep watch.
Alright.
Cut off a chunk of meat, put it to the side for him. Axes, I left 2 slices for your scary thing.
Telepathically tell him about it to go eat.
Alright, he eats it. And is it like part of the meat that had that black shit, or is it like just clean meat?
We I buried that stuff.
Okay. So he's eating the meat, and he goes, this weird elk thing. And everyone else eats. It's about noon, closer to the evening. Are you guys trying to make a long rest or a short rest?
I think I was the only one injured in the last fight.
It's up to the group.
Yeah. If we start talking about it, I think we should sit down, have a long rest.
Haven't been hit or anything. I mean, I say short rest is just fine.
I say
Oh,
short rest.
We've been traveling for hours at this point because we started traveling last night about 8 p.m. Now it is noon.
Is that true? It's been so long. Hold up.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah,
It's up to you guys, huh?
It's a different context.
How is Blue looking?
He was on the back, but like he's still kind of standing, but clearly the infection's getting into him ever so slowly.
I look at the wound. How much of it has it spread?
As far
Wounds?
like he got attacked by a horde, so he just has a
Yeah.
bunch of scratch and bite marks all over him. But you see, like the veins. Usually, how the infection works from your point of view is that clearly when someone rests, the infection spreads. But it seems like that Blue is just trying to hang on while the infection's slowly spreading, coursing through his body. His once like bright blue skin is slowly becoming less of a blue color, more of a slowly turning into a gray like color.
Kodo, how far are we away from this town we're headed to?
Well, Kodo's keeping Overwatch, so.
Oh. Shit.
You guys gonna walk over and ask me?
I'll walk over and how far to the Loker?
Lork. Has a weird spelling. It's Lorkh.
Yeah. How
Would
far
that be
we are
a
from-
history check, DM?
Yeah, make a history check on the town of Lork.
17?
17. So you do know Lork is a mining town. You do know that ownership of the town has fluctuated a bit between humans, dwarves, and so on and so forth. Before the apocalypse, it was starting to get back on its feet as a dwarven settlement, but you don't know the current state of things right now with the apocalypse.
How far away is it from where we're at right now?
From where you are, excuse me. You're here around these hilllands. You'll make it there in a full day's worth of travel.
Another day,
I know.
if the road treats us well.
think we should at least do a short, another hour rest, and we head off.
I'm not. I don't know too much about this beast of burden. I know horses need more rest, but I don't know what this thing needs for rest.
Well, I think it might not need rest because it's. From what little I know of, like paladins and stuff, when they call forth their mounts aren't real. They're not real. Maybe it doesn't need rest.
Above game,
Mhm.
Jeremy Crawford put out that mounts from like Find Steed and your like wizards call up their companions. Those are actually living, breathing. They need sleep.
Oh.
They need to eat. All that good stuff. Now, if your character in game doesn't know that, that's cool. Kodo doesn't know shit, but I'm saying above game. Yeah, it's already been put out by what was that Sage of Ice?
Right.
As far as this situation's concerned, he got his powers from the devil himself. So
Yeah.
who knows? And plus, spells act differently with different casters, and depending on the context of how they get such spells
Right.
have different properties. So who knows what this mount is capable of? But other than that, go ahead.
Alright, go back to Overwatch. I'll go talk to Axis.
Is there any food left?
Oh yeah, and I bring you the chunk of meat I cut off for you.
Thank you. I don't think we'll see anything else, but there could have been something hunting the goblins. It looked like the goblins had a base camp.
I think we just caved it in.
We did, but there could have been something following the goblins to take out the goblins, or to find where the goblins had their cave.
Right.
I'm not too worried about the goblins, but more.
Yeah, just keep overwatching. You're doing a good job. Make your monk buddies proud. Here's another gold piece.
Thank you.
You know, one day when all this is over and if we succeed, you know money's going to come back into play. There's too many greedy people on this planet still.
I am one of those.
You're talking to a merchant here, buddy. And I walk away.
All right.
And I go to find Axis.
Okay, you find him easily eating his food.
Hey, Axis.
Yeah, what's up?
Your little buddy over there, you think he needs a rest? 'Cause I think we might need to take a short rest and then keep moving. Try to get to this town.
Yes.
I don't know how much long Blue's gonna last.
Yes and no, if that makes sense.
You don't know if your thing's tired or needs to rest?
I know everything about it because it's technically part of me.
Do you want to take a rest?
I mean, if we're gonna keep going for Blue's sake, I can keep going.
Alright. Let's finish butchering this deer and make jerky and then go. So just take a short rest and then go.
Alright.
Alright.
So all of you take a short rest. You can roll hit dice if you need to regain health. You also regain short rest class abilities. So, and also if you have abilities that heal that get back on a short rest, like second wind or whatnot, you can definitely use those beforehand and get it back if you desire to. So you guys rest, eat jerky. You save whatever's left of jerky. Your wife has been completely silent to you, Axius. And Anaya's just keeping to herself and just talking with Blue. However, Kodo, you're keeping watch, and so what I would like for you to do is to make a perception check as you are keeping watch.
Advantage?
Say again?
Can I get it with an advantage?
Sure, why not?
12.
Okay. And you're just generally looking for enemies, threats, what have you, correct?
Yeah.
Okay. So the area that you're in, there's like very few trees because there's trees down this mountain, but beyond it is just a bunch of hills before heading to Lurk. You hear what seems like to be stuff being built somewhere in the hilllands further down the road, but you don't know from which general direction because you're keeping watch of everything, including the mountains and what have you. And like while this is going, you hear just like stuff being built within the hills, but you don't see anything as far as like nearby you anyway that you could see that has like clearly someone's working on something. But you do hear something being built somewhere in the hilllands further up the road. And with that, your short rest is complete. You gather your things, and your party joins you, Kodo.
Further down, I was hearing it sound like construction, something being built. Not sure what to make of it.
Let's go find out.
Hopefully, it's civil.
All right. You guys go further down. You're traveling at a normal pace, presumably. What are you guys doing as you guys are walking? Staying with this information or what have you? Walking straight.
Is it Emerald's not talking to me? She's giving me a cold shoulder, right?
Yep.
Alright. The ladies stay with this blue and
The mount.
the mount. No Buttercup. Axis
How
take
long
that.
How long does the steed last, by the way, Axius?
Forever.
It does. Yeah, it doesn't have it until it falls out of hit points.
Okay.
Until I summon it back to.
Gotcha. Or dismiss it. Gotcha. Okay. Continue.
Alright. Axis, you stay back here.
What?
Coda and I will scout ahead.
Hold on, you're not leaving
Why?
me back. The hell? I'm going.
Well, I want to see what's being built first before I bring an injured person and the rest of the party up.
Yeah, and I can telepathically link with this steed of mine for a mile.
Oh,
He can
right, you go
teleport
left.
all over
Takes
place.
right. I'll sneak up the middle.
No, I'll
Alright,
go
stay
up the
with the
middle.
thing.
And
Okay.
I'm not
Alright,
sneaking. Just
so-
walk.
Okay. So you three are going further ahead, right? Yes?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm staying away from Axius. When I see Axius just walking down the middle of the road, I am going to be sneaking and staying out of sight and basically allowing him to be the center of attention.
Sure.
So if something is, not civil, I can get a good shot on him before
Okay.
Axius turns him into paste.
Okay, so marching order wise.
I'm going to
Ichabod.
stay with Axis because I speak Dwarf, and if this is a Dwarven community, I can talk to him.
Okay, so it's Ichabod.
Oh, we're not there yet. We got a full
Yeah,
day
you got
to
a full
get to
day's
the
worth of
town.
travel. So
There's just someone
Icha-
building something in the foothills.
right, so it's Ichabod and Axius further ahead, and then Kodo sneaking back a bit to the side, stealthing and just paying attention, right?
Yeah, I got a 17 to stealth.
Okay, your stealth, and then everyone else is just backed up a bit. All right, cool.
30 feet back.
Yep, we'll say that.
Okay.
Okay, so and Kodo, assuming you're keeping like 10 feet behind or 15 feet behind.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, we'll say this. Okay. All right. So, what is everyone's passive perceptions? between Ichabod and Axios, excuse me.
16.
15.
And Kodo, you're actively looking, so make a perception check.
$11.
Okay. So here's what happens. This path before Lork is just a bunch of hill lands. Now these hills, are just covered and they're scattered about, and it's just a single road that goes to it. Axios and Ichabod, you both see further ahead, and just from the stench, just a dead corpse further ahead. And based on your general passive perceptions, you see what seems like to be a corpse. Two humanoid corpses, just like standing, like a scarecrow, just standing in the middle of the road. And you could tell it's like, oh, this thing has been out for probably weeks.
Are they hung up? You said they're like scarecrow.
They're like in the road, 15 feet in front of you, in the middle of the road, just scarecrows basically standing on what seems like to be wooden posts in the middle of the road right next to each other. And they seem to have something on each of their chests.
Can I get about 8 feet to them and then try to see what's on their chest without getting too close?
Sure. Ichabod, what are you doing?
I'm doing the same.
Okay, Kodo, based on your perception check, you see what they see clearly.
I'm not moving ahead. I'm basically pulling Overwatch while they're moving towards.
Okay. So, argument's sake, they're 25 feet away from Kodo. So, as you get close, you two see, like, these are human corpses. And on top of that, they have a sign around their necks. And it's like wood. And it's like smeared in blood. And it's some weird white substance on it. And these things have been cut, like cut marks all over them. And clearly both of them have no hands attached to it, and they're just nailed like with their chests, whatever remains on their arms and their feet. And both of them, head-wise, have no lower jaw, and clearly have stab wounds in their heads. The one on the left says, "Turn back." The other one says, "Past here, you're dead."
Oh,
I continue walking.
Okay. How far would you like to go out?
I feet past the scarecrows. I am holding a reaction. I'm pretty much on edge, like holding a reaction whilst walking slowly.
Okay. Ichabod, you're gonna stay put, or what would you like to do?
I'll move to the opposite side of the road and do the walk up as far as he walks up.
Okay. Kodo, what are you doing? Clearly,
I'm
that you
watching
see
them.
him. Okay. You see behind you that the rest of the party is coming up to you. Behind you.
I hold my hand up to tell them to
Right?
stop.
They stop. Ichabod and Axios, you move ahead 10 feet. You move an additional 5 feet. Dexterity saving throw with disadvantage.
Both of us?
Yep. As you guys fail to see the tripwire further ahead based on your passive perceptions.
But I have advantage on those dex saves, so it's a straight roll for me?
Straight roll for you, yep.
I got a 9.
Can I use the reaction I was holding?
4.
I was gonna go into a rage, and that's a 5 for me.
Okay, so both of you fail. Kodo, you see as soon as you bring your hand up, boom! A big explosion happens, and we'll see what happens in the next episode. All right. So, that being said, we're back on schedule. We'll see everyone next session, and we'll see what happens post this explosion. So until then, guys, we'll see you next week. Take care.
Take care.
Are we off air, Goodell? I'm gonna assume we are. All right. Hope you guys enjoyed that session.
Oh man.
You didn't let me go into a rage.
We'll cover that next week. It's going to be okay. It's fine. It's gonna be all right, guys. Yep. It's already ended. So, all right. I can't wait for next week now.